We have arrived at the semi-finals of the Australia Cup. Heidelberg United taking on Auckland FC, Avondale FC hosting Newcastle Jets. Two incredibly fascinating matches. You've got two teams from NPL Victoria who have just been unbelievable, not just in this Australia Cup tournament this year, but they've had fantastic league seasons in the NPL Victoria as well. Coming up against Auckland FC, the premiers from the last A-League men's season, and Newcastle Jets, who was sort of the surprise package this year in the Australia Cup, and are on the hunt for their first trophy since all the way back in 2008. That was their last piece of silverware. So there is a huge opportunity for Newcastle Jets here as well. So there are so many fascinating talking points across all these matches. We'd love to hear from you guys as well. Who do you think is going through to the Australia Cup final? Because even though this is obviously both semi-finals, an NPL side coming up against an A-League side, it feels so even. This has probably been, for me at least, this has been the best Australia Cup we've ever seen, we've ever had. It's been thoroughly entertaining. We've had huge cup sets, huge results. And as a lot of people have been talking about, it almost appears as though the gap between NPL and A-League is maybe just getting a little bit closer and closer. Let's start off by talking about Heidelberg United hosting Auckland FC. Heidelberg have been immensely impressive looking at the results so far leading up to this point, going back to that 2-0 win against Western Bears in the round of 32, and then the two huge cup sets, a round of 16 win against West Sydney Wanderers 3-0, and then last time around 4-0 win against Wellington Phoenix. So they're coming up against the other A-League New Zealand side here in Auckland FC, but as we know, it's going to be a completely different test here. Look, Wanderers, Wellington, two decent A-League teams, but Auckland FC are a completely different challenge. We know how tough they are to beat, defensively so strong. So this is probably, Heidelberg United's biggest test that they will face this year, coming up against Auckland FC, who have some phenomenal players. And we know from what we've seen from Auckland FC this year, they've been fielding really strong 11s in all of their games, going back to the round of 32, that 4-0 win against Gold Coast Knights, the 3-0 win against South Melbourne, so they have defeated NPL Victoria opposition before, and then that penalty shootout victory against Sydney FC in the quarterfinals. For me, this is shaping up, I feel like, as Auckland as favourites. Look, Heidelberg United will be hosting them again here, and so high in confidence at the moment, I'm sure, as well, entering this game with those huge cup set victories behind them. And again, we should note, they weren't just, a sneaky cup set victory where they, won on a penalty shootout or grabbed a last minute winner in a high scoring match. These were convincing victories, holding clean sheets. They've been immensely impressive, especially looking at some of their star players who have shined in these games. I did want to highlight Yaron Souza, former Central Coast Mariners goalkeeper, who has probably been the best goalkeeper in this Australia Cup tournament so far. He's been absolutely fantastic. Yokokawa and Lesiotis have been really impressive in this tournament as well. Anthony Lesiotis, former Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City midfielder, has been looking very good in this tournament, as well as Ben Collins, formerly of Western United, playing in that back line there. Again, it's almost like the battle of the two defenses here. This could well be a low-scoring matchup between these two teams. For Auckland FC, Jesse Randall has been the player in form for them at the moment. His goal-scoring form has been good in this tournament. Didn't score against Sydney FC, but he is one to watch for Auckland FC as well. Francis de Vries, of course, coming up from left back. Heidelberg United will have to try and neutralise Francis de Vries in this game as well, just with his crossing ability. He is so dangerous off that left-hand side. But looking at these two teams coming together, look, there's a huge opportunity here for Heidelberg United to go all the way, to make it to the final. It will obviously be absolutely huge for them. But Auckland FC, they are just too strong. I'm really excited to watch this match because I think early on, if Heidelberg can keep Auckland scoreless, even through that whole first half, they give themselves a huge opportunity. We've seen in their Australia Cup games at least how dangerous they are on the counter-attack as well. If they get the opportunity to go forward, they've got players moving forward in attacking positions who are really dangerous in front of goal. So that's the concerning thing for Auckland as well. So again, I think a really tight matchup, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Auckland FC. Again, I think we can expect a low-scoring affair considering how strong both teams are defensively. But Auckland FC, I will back them for the win here, and they will be the first New Zealand team to qualify for an Australia Cup final, Auckland FC, to go through. The other semi-final, Avondale FC taking on Newcastle Jets. Avondale, again, just really impressive in this cup run and in the league as well. They finished top in the NPL Victoria this past season against the Newcastle Jets side, who have been really exciting under new head coach Mark Milligan, with a bunch of their new signings performing really well. Max Burgess was on the score sheet last week in the quarterfinals. Alex Bartolado has looked impressive. And the youngsters who they've been integrating into the squad as well in their starting lineups, the likes of Xavier Bertoncello, Max Cooper at the back, Christian Bracco at right back as well. So they've built a team who, you know, they've got some decent experience in there as well, but the young guys are performing really well for them at the moment, and they've got that balance which has taken them all the way here, all the way through to this stage in the Cup. Looking at the run for Avondale FC in the final rounds, a 5-1 win against Stirling Macedonia, 3-1 win against Apia Leichhardt, a 6-2 win against Brisbane City. They've been scoring goals for fun in this Australia Cup run so far. Manny Agwek has been the star player for them, just so dangerous in front of goal, a player who has been on the books at some A-League clubs previously, is just showing us his ability in this tournament, and I'm sure he's on the radar of some A-League clubs based off his current form at the moment. So that's one to watch out for Newcastle Jets. Can Newcastle hold on to a clean sheet in this game? That'll be the big question for this Jets side, who have been shaky in defence in years gone by, and that has let them down in big games at times, Newcastle Jets. But again, for Newcastle, we look at their run, and they've been good as well, going back to that 2-1 win against Adelaide United, 5-0 win against Cooks Hill United. And then I was really impressed with that 3-0 win against Macarthur FC in the quarterfinals. If they can replicate some of the really smooth attacking play that we saw in that game, they could be hard to stop in this matchup as well. So Newcastle Jets, I've been really impressed with their attacking play. So we've almost got two semi-finals here where it feels like Heidelberg versus Auckland will be low scoring. It feels like, again, based off the trends that we're seeing from these teams, that the Avondale Newcastle Jets semi-final may well be a high scoring matchup. I will say that Newcastle Jets go through. They're my prediction for this game. I will go a high-scoring affair, and why not? This could be a really fun matchup. I'm going to go 3-2 to Newcastle Jets, but I think that last result in the quarterfinals against Macarthur FC, who have a strong team, they've got a good, experienced squad. Newcastle Jets cruised past them pretty comfortably 3-0, and that result really convinced me, and that performance as well, I think, convinced me that they will get past Avondale FC here. Again, I want to highlight that Avondale prove a great threat and have done so well to get to this stage in the tournament. Such a strong league campaign as well. Looking at their recent form as well, they've been picking up so many wins lately. So it will take... Newcastle Jets cannot afford to drop their level at all in this game if they want to get through to their first ever Australia Cup final. So I am backing Newcastle Jets to get through in the end. 3-2 victory for that semi-final, which would set up a Newcastle Jets Auckland FC final. And of course, that would surely mean that Newcastle Jets would be hosting. As we know, the New Zealand sides do not host their games in the Australia Cup. So there we go. There's my predictions for the semi-finals. Feel free to drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments section. And make sure to stay subscribed here to the channel as we react to these Australia Cup semi-finals over the weekend. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. My name's Lucky. See you in the next one.